I know why you tuned into this video. You've got questions about salvage titles and rebuilt titles and what's the difference and what makes a title salvage and when do they decide if the title is salvage and can a car be wrecked and still not be salvage? You've got questions. I know the answers to these. Watch this video. I'll explain it all to you. Then you can be an informed consumer. Okay, I'm hoping you've tuned into my video before you've bought a car and now found out that you made a big mistake. Maybe you want to know what makes a car a salvage car. What makes it a rebuilt car? How do you get it from step A to step B? What is this process and how does it work? I'm a used car dealer. My name's Tom. I've bought and sold hundreds of cars, many with salvage titles, or excuse me, rebuilt titles. I've bought salvage title cars, and I'm here to explain to you exactly how this works. Now, the first thing we got to know is what makes a salvage title car. What makes a salvage title car is the insurance company decides that they would lose less money just totaling the car and paying you a check and selling the body of the car off to a shop, an auction to be rebuilt by another vendor than they would fixing your car. According to my buddy Justin that works in an auto body shop, he says it's about 75% of value. Now, who determines the value of your car? Well, your insurance company does. He said most closely resembled what value they assign is NADA. So there's lots of reasons that your car could be totaled. We're down here in Texas. We see a lot of cars totaled for hail because we get a bad hailstorm. Many panels on the vehicle are damaged. The paintless dent repair bill would be astronomical. So the insurance company elects to pay you for your car and send that hail damaged car to an auction where other companies can bid on them, fix them, and sell them. What happens when your insurance company buys your car is that title is turned into a salvage title. So in Texas, a salvage title is pink, and it says salvage motor vehicle right on the top of the title. It's the only color we have that's pink, is the only one is for salvage. You cannot buy that car and then put it on the road, okay? That car can be bought and sold, then must be repaired, and then can be sold as a rebuilt title car. So that's one of the ways, right? Hail damage. Another one is an accident. An accident where it would cost 75% of the car's value to, get it painted and put back on the road and all that fun stuff. So a word about the cost of repairs. When these insurance companies send a car to a body shop, it's usually a national or regional chain, and they're going to quote replacing things with all brand new parts, a lot of times with genuine manufacturer parts. They're going to use a guidebook for flag hours for what does it cost to replace this and that, and repair costs can get quite high. A good example of that is if you've ever gone to a fancy regional auto body shop and said, hey, I need this fender replaced and I'd like to get the whole car painted. What would it cost me? And they give you a price. And then you drive down the street and you see your local body shop, maybe they're Hispanic fellas in a worn out building, and you ask them the same thing and it's half the cost. Well, why is it half the cost? One, they may not be using a guidebook. They just know from experience how long it takes. Two, you're not going to go buy a new fender from the General Motors dealer and a new bumper and a new headlight. Maybe they're going to go to the pick-apart and have the pick-apart place bring them out a bumper, a headlight, and a fender, and they're going to sand it a little bit and then shoot it paint-wise, and they have lower overhead than a national chain. They don't pay a franchise fee to a national chain, so they're able to get the work done a little bit cheaper. And that's exactly why some of these cars are a huge value. I recently bought a 06 Mercedes. It had a salvage title. The salvage was because of hail. The car only had 120,000 miles on it. It ran great. It drove nice. I almost kept it, to be honest with you. It was a rebuilt title. Why? Because it had hail damage and somebody rebuilt it. So don't necessarily be afraid of rebuilt titles. Hey everybody, this is Tom. If you're still watching my video, that means you're watching this plug. And what I want to ask for in this plug is for you to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I recently looked at my Facebook data and I found out that only 5% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed to my channel. I know part of it is because some of the stuff I do is very specific information. How do you sign your title? How do you get a copy of your title? What do the different title colors mean? And that's something that you probably go to YouTube because of a Google search. You find that information, you get your question answered, and you're done. And that's one of the reasons I've started including some behind the scenes from my car dealership into my channel. So if it's content that you think you like, that you might like, that you know someone that would like, or you just constantly are having questions, maybe you're buying and selling cars on your own at home in your garage, maybe you're thinking of opening a dealership, a subscribe to my channel and a like would go so far. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Another question I get all the time is, can the car be wrecked and not have a salvage title? And that answer is absolutely. As a matter of fact, years ago in Texas, the city of Houston had huge floods. There was a big onslaught of flooded vehicles being sold here in Texas and up here in Dallas where I live. And people would say, well, has it been in a flood? It's not a salvage title. Is it a good title? Yeah, it's a good title, even though it's been in a flood. Why? Because the car did not have full coverage insurance on it. An insurance company never had to total the car. Joe Blow, who had no insurance, his car got washed 2 blocks away in the flood. When he eventually got it back, he just sold it to a junkyard. The junkyard sells it to a guy that owns a body shop. The body shop guy takes the body apart, dries it out, cleans it up, replaces the fluids, gets the car to run. And guess what? Because it was not totaled by an insurance company, it is not a rebuilt titled car. So let me tell you a little bit about how cars go from being salvage with a pink title to blue as a rebuilt title. It's pretty straightforward. I've put a few videos out already about converting from a rebuilt title to, from a salvage title to a rebuilt title. If you'd be interested in seeing that video, I'll make sure that it pops up at the end just to show you what we're talking about. So anyway, long story short, you go to Copart or IAAI or whatever, you buy a pink salvage title car. Then there's basically just a process you go through paperwork-wise where you're going to fix what's wrong with the car, document what you did, document what parts you had to use, and then you take the car for a state inspection. Now, this is the same state inspection that you do if you're in an emissions county. That's the $25.50 one, where they plug your car into the OBD2, they make sure the monitors are good to go, you don't have a check engine light, they check your headlights, tail lights, brake lights, license plate lights, windshield wipers, all that fun stuff. If you're not in an emissions county, we just call it our safety inspection, which is where they make sure all your electronic stuff, your brakes and everything works. So that inspection is required prior to converting the salvage to a rebuild. What's interesting is there is no inspection where you take your car to a special shop and you have it put on a lift and they verify you got all the nuts and bolts tight or that the bent frame exists or doesn't exist. None of that happens. None of that. So that's also a good tip. When you're buying a car that has a rebuilt title, you may want to take it to a shop and ask them to put it up on their lift and just do a quick inspection for safety. But anyway, back to, you filled out all your paperwork, the documentation about where you bought the car. I'm sorry, not where you bought the car, but what you did to the car, who did it, the parts. You get your inspection, you fill out a special form, and you pay the state $65 plus your $33 title fee, and then your tags and all that fun stuff. And then that pink title that says rebuilt, that says salvage, comes back to you, a regular blue title, just like all the others that you've seen if you're in Texas. But under remarks, it will say rebuilt. Now, different states do it different ways. Some say rebuilt, 100% loss. Some say 50% loss. Some say flood. Some say hail. Different states have a different way of branding their titles as being rebuilt. And they all have a little bit different process, okay? So that's something to think about. Another thing to do if you are thinking of buying a car that has a rebuilt title already is get the car's VIN number and put it in Google, because I have found that a lot of times these insurance auctions, that car is still going to show up even if it was like 2 years ago, and you may see pictures of that car at the insurance auction, so you would have an idea of what needs to be or what was fixed on that vehicle. Can you not really see anything from the pictures? Okay, maybe it was a flood, or maybe it was hail, and maybe the description is still attached to the photos. It just depends. Is the car creamed and you can't see the whole front end? It's all mashed in. Things to think about. So that's another way to kind of see maybe what was wrong with the car and decide if it's the car for you. All right, so that's the video for today, guys. Just a quick recap about, what's a salvage title, what's the difference between a salvage and a rebuilt. More or less, the salvage is when it still needs to be put back together and rebuilt. The pink title cannot be used for registration. Then once the car is rebuilt, that in Texas at least is a blue title or a brown title where it says rebuilt under the remarks. That title can in fact be put back on the road and driven just like any other vehicle. And yes, you can get insurance on a rebuilt title car. Liability, absolutely. Full coverage depends a little on insurance companies, but generally you can find one that will insure you, sometimes at a little bit of a diminished value because it's previously wrecked. Just call your insurance company and ask them. Guys, I really do appreciate you watching the video. I will put the video up on the end card to show you how to convert your salvage title to a rebuilt title. I appreciate you tuning in and watching this quick video. I hope it answered some questions for people, and y'all have yourselves a great day.